Moving to another city can definitely be stressful, especially the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. There's so many places that you can live in. Trust me, I was just like you a year ago trying to figure out where I was going to live. There's Plano, there's Frisco, there's Dallas, there's Arlington, there's Fort Worth. So many different options that you can choose to live in. And that's why in this video, I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of different places that you can choose to live in when moving to the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. So make sure you stay tuned. You don't want to miss it, and I'm going to get to it right now. What's going on, everyone? This is your boy Dre the Realtor, living it up in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. And if this is your first time watching my channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, working, chilling, playing, and eating in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, then make sure you hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon next to it to be the first to know when I upload a new video. And honestly, people contact me each and every day trying to get more information about the DFW. So if you're looking to move or relocate to the DFW, then give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. Whatever you gotta do to get in contact with me, I got your back when moving to the DFW. So in case you guys didn't know, the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex is comprised of Dallas and Fort Worth, which are the two major cities. And then there's other smaller cities and suburbs that surround those two major cities, which makes up the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. So the first big city that I'll be talking about is Fort Worth, Texas. So Fort Worth, Texas is located about 30 to 45 minutes west of Dallas. It's the 13th largest city in the US, and it has a population of over 900,000 residents. And Fort Worth actually has its own set of suburbs that surround it. There's Saginaw, there's Lake Worth, there's White Settlement, there's Benbrook, you got Crowley, and you also have Forest Hill and Burleson. Fort Worth is an all-around good city. It's very diverse. It literally has everything that you need. It has the Fort Worth Stockyards. They actually call Fort Worth Cowtown because of the Fort Worth Stockyards. Another famous attraction that Fort Worth has is Sundance Square, which is located in downtown Fort Worth. And there's just so many fun and exciting events and things that you can find going on at Sundance Square. Another thing I love about Fort Worth, Texas is entertainment and attractions. They have West 7th Street if you're like into the club lifestyle. There's a lot of good food spots that you can choose from in Fort Worth, Texas. And the biggest thing I love about Fort Worth is that there is a lot of new construction communities popping up all over Fort Worth. And they're actually priced pretty affordable. Another thing you need to know about Fort Worth, Texas is that the median price of a home is actually more affordable than most of the areas in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. Now let's talk about some cons. And for me, the biggest con of Fort Worth, Texas is driving. The driving distance from all of the major big cities in the DFW. It's going to take you anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour just to get to Dallas, to Frisco, to Plano, to Irving. It just takes forever just to drive to other locations in the DFW. Another big con of living in Fort Worth, Texas is the school district. Fort Worth doesn't have one of the best school districts in the DFW. It's actually ranked number 30 among all school districts in the DFW. So if school district is a deal breaker for you, then Fort Worth may not be the location for you. So now that we talked about Fort Worth, let's talk about the mid-cities, the cities that divide Fort Worth and Dallas, and which is pretty much the midway in between both cities. So Arlington, Irving, Grand Prairie, Grapevine, Hearst, Euless, and Bedford. All of these are great cities, but in my opinion, Arlington is where most of the action at. You have Six Flags Over Texas, you have Hurricane Harbor, you have the Cowboy Stadiums, you have the Texas Rangers Stadium. You also have a great entertainment district that's around the Cowboys and Texas Rangers Stadium that caps it all off. Arlington also has great shopping centers, malls, and great places to eat. And it also is one of the more affordable areas that you can live in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. Now that we talked about the pros of Arlington, let's talk about cons. My biggest con of Arlington is the construction. There is a lot of construction on the highways that surround Arlington. Trust me, if you're driving past Six Flags, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Another con about Arlington is the school district. The school district is ranked number 44 in all of the school districts in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. So like I said about Fort Worth, if school districts is a concern for you, then Arlington may not be the place for you. But there's a lot of fun and action going on in Arlington, and it's a really good place if you love entertainment. Another great mid-city that you should look into is Grand Prairie. It has a lot of benefits to it, and it is another affordable city in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. Let me tell you all about Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie is not too far from Dallas. It's not too far from Fort Worth. It's not too far from the DFW International Airport. It has a lot of great shopping there. They have the Grand Prairie outlets there. There's also Epic Waters, which is like a really cool indoor water park. Another thing you need to know about Grand Prairie is that every year they host Christmas lights annually, which is a very large display. And it's actually some of the best Christmas lights in the DFW. And if you're a big fan of entertainment, Grand Prairie also has the Verizon Center, where they host all sorts of events and concerts there all the time. Traders Village is actually in Grand Prairie, Texas. It's one of the largest flea markets in the US. If you're a fan of nature and love the outdoors, Grand Prairie also has Lloyd Park, which is a campsite. It has cabins. You can stay there overnight. You can do hiking, you can bike, you can do boating, and they also have fishing facilities out there for you as well. So if you love nature, then Grand Prairie may be a good place for you to live in the DFW. So now that we talked about the mid-cities, let's talk about the big and flashy Dallas, Texas. There's so many pros and cons of living in Dallas. And there's so many areas that you can live in the city of Dallas. One thing that you should know about Dallas is that Dallas is huge. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes just to drive through the city of Dallas side to side. Dallas has a beautiful skyline. Dallas has all the jobs. There's so many things that you can do there. Dallas has a very thriving entertainment and arts district. They have high-class shopping. The Dallas Aquarium is actually located in Dallas, Texas. American Airlines, where the Dallas Mavs and the Dallas Stars play at, is located in Dallas, Texas as well. There's just a lot of fun things that you can do. There's a lot of good eats in Dallas, Texas as well. So Dallas, there's never dull moments in Dallas, but with all the excitement and with all the glitz and glam, there are some cons of living in Dallas, Texas. Since it is the largest and the most sought out and the most popular area in the DFW, the traffic here in Dallas is pretty horrible. The construction on the road is horrible as well. I mean, driving on the highways in Dallas is just a nightmare. I hate driving in Dallas. That is like one of the things that I always try to avoid is driving in Dallas, because it's so confusing. There's so much traffic on the road and it's just a nightmare. Also, since it is a very popular city in the DFW, the median price of a home in Dallas, Texas is about $390,000. Another con about living in Dallas, Texas is the school districts. The school district in Dallas, Texas is one of the lower ranked school districts in the DFW. Crime, that's another con of living in Dallas. The crime rate in Dallas, Texas is one of the highest in the nation. So if crime is a deal breaker for you, then Dallas may not be the place for you. So now that we talked about the major cities such as Fort Worth, Dallas, Arlington, the HEB area, Grand Prairie, let's talk about other cities and suburbs that surround Dallas that may also be great places for you to live. So if you have to travel a lot for your job, or if you need to travel out of state a lot and you want to be by the airport, then Irving is a great place for you to live. It's only about a 5 to 15 minute drive from Irving to the DFW airport. Cedar Hill is another great place for you to live if you enjoy nature. They have the Cedar Hill State Park where you can camp, you can swim, you can also fish there. Now, if you want more of the suburban life, then Plano and Frisco is where everyone is moving to. So the reason why people are moving to Frisco, Texas is because it has a really good school district. You really get that luxury living at an affordable price. New construction is booming in Frisco, and the crime rate is lower in Frisco than most of the DFW. So the reason why people are moving to Plano is because the economy is booming. There is a lot of big name companies that are packing up and relocating to Plano, Texas. There's a lot of places for hiking, biking, and swimming. There's also affordable luxury living where there is a safe sense of community. And there's also a lot of shopping. So Plano is the place to be if you want that true suburban lifestyle at an affordable price. Other cities that you should consider living in is Keller. Keller has a really good school district. It's right outside of Fort Worth, and that's another sought out city. Another city that you should look into is Forney, Texas. Is right on the outskirts from Dallas towards the east. That's another city that a lot of people are moving to. New construction is booming there at an affordable price. Now, if you're looking for that true suburban lifestyle, that's going to be a little bit north of Dallas, and places such as Frisco, Plano, McKinney, the Colony, Coppell, Grapevine. All of those places are really good places to live for a true suburban lifestyle. Obviously, there's other places that you can live. I just named a few, but if you're looking for a true suburban lifestyle, those are some great places that you should consider living. It does cost at least $300,000 or more to live in those areas, but you get peace of mind knowing that there's going to be a safe community to live in, as well as good school districts in those areas as well. And that pretty much wraps up this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about the DFW or thinking about moving to the DFW, send me a text, give me a call, or simply shoot me an email. Whatever you got to do to get in contact with me, I got your back when moving to the DFW. Until next time, deuces.